Hello everyone, this is Ioan Emanuel Crăciun, your Donny voice and Reform UK counsellor for Balby South. As promised, I'm bringing you a tally of my past activity, and this is in relation to both council activity and party activity. So, at the start of this month, I finished the allocated corporate training, and it was a bit of a trial of fire, to say the least. I could never imagine that local administration can involve so many moving elements. But we have gone through it as a reform group and as a counselor individually. We've all gone through the training, and I think we've come through it successfully. And I think Doncaster will benefit from the knowledge we've acquired. Um, Using this opportunity, I want to say thank you to the council officers and those involved in the training. Um, Most were very professional, and most training that we've gone through was quite useful, and I think is going to be useful in the future as well. So, when it comes to the activity that I've performed, apart from being there for training and full council meets and so on, I've attended 90 meetings so far. I've allocated 5 days for conferences, including Morpeth, London, Doncaster, Birmingham. I've made a decision when it comes to my activity as a counsellor to not claim for any expenses. And when it comes to the activity within Balby South specifically, there was one that I felt I needed to get involved with, even though there was not much that I could do to influence its outcome, and that was the Alverley Lane development. Because of the way the planning committee and the licensing committees are structured and work, other councillors cannot influence their decisions. Other councillors cannot get involved in trying to move the needle, to say so, on the decision that's being taken. That is completely technical. So the councillors that are on those committees will make a decision based on technicality. If there are any technical issues, they can reject or postpone their decision, and they cannot simply use their conviction or their political affiliation to influence their decisions. Now, that being said, that was something that I've learned. I initially thought that was a political decision, but it is not. As soon as land is taken out of Greenbelt and allocated for development, whoever purchases that land can develop on it, can build on it. There's nothing anyone can do about it. You can't really stop an owner from building something on his property, to put it simply. Of course, it will have an impact when you build 180 houses and so on. So there are things that you need to take into consideration and work with the local authority in order to make that development work. So I still had a speech in this regard. I was not happy that land was being used to build even more houses in a ward that needs more green space, more schools places, more doctors, and so on. All of our services, most of our services in any case, are outsourced, and you have to go to town center to see a doctor, or you have to go to a different ward to do your shopping, and so on. And when it comes to school places and nursery places, I and many of our residents think that we do not have enough, even if the council numbers say another thing. So this is where politics comes into place, I would say, because this is where we can work as a community to elect someone to push our interest in council, for example. In Doncaster, unfortunately, even though most of our residents feel like they can push a political agenda by electing councillors, that is impossible. The only thing that the councillors have power over is the budget, and that is to vote for it once as it goes through. And they can reject it or request amendments to it. When it comes to it, to the decision itself, that is for the mayor and the cabinet to make. So whatever development, the major development, let's say the airport, let's say business park and so on, that is being approved, that will go through the cabinet and most likely will be a decision from the mayor. Doncaster has a strong mayor system. A strong mayor system means the council has the role of scrutiny. Therefore, as councillors, we are there to look at what's happening and to raise our hand and say this is not right or this needs to be changed if we see something that is in that circumstance. So the council doesn't decide. Unfortunately, Reform lost the mayorship by only 700 votes and won the majority of seats in council. And normally, you would say Reform should decide for Doncaster, but this is not the case in Doncaster. The system is a strong mayor system, and therefore the mayor decides. And the mayor will put together a cabinet that will help her govern the city. So in Doncaster at this point, Reform is in opposition. In power, it's Labour. So just wanted to give you an explanation as to why I couldn't do anything in regards to the Alverley Lane development, even though I wanted to, but there wasn't much I could do. I wanted to go there and express what my constituents wanted me to express and to let both the mayor and the planning committee know that the constituents want them to reject it if possible. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible. My discussion with the planning committee afterwards clarified that there wasn't any technical issue that could be taken into consideration to not pass that development. So also as a councillor, I've decided to take a more hands-on approach in the sense that I do trust the council services up to an extent to do their jobs. And to be honest, they're doing a good enough job. It could be better. It can always be better. But I wanted to make sure that at least those basic requirements are being met. So I've decided to take a trip and make an inspection of my ward. So every 2-3 weeks, I go and inspect the ward basically, and I walk up and down every single street in the ward. It takes me about 2-3 hours, but I do that to see if the streets are clean, they're swept, to see if there are potholes, to see if there are places where fly tipping took place, to see if there's antisocial behavior in place. You name it. Whatever issue I can spot as an observer, I will bring to the knowledge of the administration, and there's a number of them that were acted upon. So this is being done by raising a concern with the appropriate service. And as councillors, we have a service at our disposal that does this triage for us, so that the problem is approached by the appropriate service. So up to this point, for the last 4 months, I've raised 78 reports to council on various problems that I've spotted. When it comes to the antisocial behavior, I want to make a pause here and acknowledge there's a serious situation with the off-road bikes. This is being looked at and measures are being put in place. We are in contact with the police and we are trying to get this under control through both social activities for young people to be able to express themselves in this way if they want to, but within a certain area, and not do this where residents walk their dogs and their children and they go to work and to school. So it's for the bike riders not to be put in the position where they can cause an accident or be involved in an accident. So when it comes to my political activity and when it comes to reform, I want to make a few notes. So I was named as whip for our reform group. I've taken time to go to branch meetings. Pretty much every single branch meeting that took place, I was in attendance. Um, I participated in the Rotherham by-election, and our candidate, congratulations to him, has won the election, as well as in the Bentley by-election that took place here in Doncaster, and again our candidate won. So, using this opportunity again, I want to thank the constituents in Balby and the ones in Rotherham. I've taken part in several internal party decisions with moderate to high benefit, I'd say. And I would say the next step that I want to focus on is facilitating communication with constituents through surgeries and other means. I'm thinking online surgeries as well. We had our national conference, and I want to say a few words about that as well. It was amazing. I think our leaders, our party leaders, are people of conviction and very good morals. And I think they're going to take our country forward. I think reform is the way forward. And I could not be more proud than I was at that point when I looked around me and I saw all our party colleagues in that conference literally embodying what reform is. So, using this opportunity, I want to say thank you to the organizers, as they've done an amazing job. So, that being said, this pretty much sums up my activity for the last 4 months, both politically and administrationally. This was very much intertwined, and it will be intertwined because it's politics and administration put together. So, thank you very much. I hope you have a good day.